Mastery. This is one of my favorite, this next piece here is one of my favorite subjects, because what we're talking about is the complexity threshold. Okay, I found this one. This is something that I discovered. I don't remember. I don't remember when I discovered it, but it's very simple. All of these things are very simple. They're principles. Okay? I'm not saying that any of this stuff is 100% true, that this is the way that it is. What I'm saying is that these are models that you can use to enhance your life, okay, to make your life better, to learn quicker, to learn faster. Okay? If it works, use it. If it doesn't work, try something else. Okay, so complexity threshold, what we're looking at is, I did this with somebody I was talking to earlier, who has studied something in school, or something that they wanted to learn, just a subject. Okay, go ahead. What subject was that?
Well, I was studying architecture.
Okay, architecture. Okay, so when you started to learn about architecture, did it seem fairly straightforward when you got into it? Like, you might have known there was other things going on, but you're like, okay, I'm going to learn how to design buildings, right? Okay, so it seemed fairly simple right at the beginning. Seemed fairly simple at the beginning, and then you got into it, and then what happened?
Oh, there's a lot more to learn.
So you said, okay, well, there's a lot more here, okay? And then you learned some of that, and then you realize there's probably a lot more, right? And then there's a lot more after that, and there's probably a lot more, and then a lot more after that, right? Okay, so what we're having here is this information is getting larger and larger and larger and larger as we go along. Now, when you're going through that process, did you feel some type of an overwhelm?
Maybe occasionally, but I think it was more excitement.
Okay. Okay. Because you really wanted to learn it. You're very passionate about learning it. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So what I've discovered with this type of a scenario is that we start off, something seems fairly simple. We pick a subject like cooking, like confidence, like consistency, and we start to unravel the web of what these things actually are. And we come upon a whole bunch of information. And from my personal experience, what I found is that I get to a point where I have this is how I do it. I have a nervous breakdown, and I get completely overwhelmed. And I'm like, oh my God, like, it's just so much information. Because I'm learning really, really quickly. And it just gets so big, and I get to this point where it's just like, I think to myself, how am I ever going to figure all of this out? How am I ever going to know all of this information? There's just so much. And then something happens. I keep going. And I push a little bit more. Right? My mind is ready to explode. I'm ready to give up. Right? Who can relate to this? Right? Yeah. And I push just a little bit more. And what happens is all of that complexity, all of that information collapses, and you come out the other side, and everything makes sense. Right? So all that complexity collapses into simplicity. And you come out the other side, and you have somehow in your mind, you have this formula where all of a sudden all this information just makes sense. You can see the matrix. You can see how everything's organized. Right? You guys have had these experiences, right? Yeah, absolutely. So you come out here, and you have this like magic box of knowledge. And now you can go out and you can teach this stuff to other people. But if you're trying to teach somebody and you're still in here, it does not come out smooth. Let me tell you, it does not come out smooth. It sounds something like, well, yeah, it's kind of like this, but it's sort of like this too. And then there's this other thing. And then what were we talking about? Right? That's what it sounds a lot like. So the key with this one, so this is what we're talking about with the learning process, how to learn really quickly. Okay, there's a quote that I live by, and it doesn't mean I like the guy, but I like the quote. Fred Trump, Donald Trump's dad, he said, learn everything you can about what you're doing. He didn't say learn as much, or learn a little bit more, or any sort of light and fluffy word. He said learn everything you can about what you're doing. Earlier in this presentation, for those of you who stepped in, I said something. I said that I said if I don't learn something new every single day, I feel retarded. I feel retarded. Literally, I feel retarded. If I don't read a book for a day, right, I feel retarded. So I have had to keep learning. Every day I need to learn something new. Every day I need to learn something new. To the point of where it's like, no, I can't leave the house yet because I haven't learned something new yet today, and my brain is not working. So once I learn something new, then my brain goes, oh, like how your stomach goes when you're full. It goes, oh, I'm good. And then halfway through the day, I get hungry again, right? So I bring a book with me, or I have audiobooks with me all the time, so that when I get that hunger, I can listen to something and learn a new concept and learn something new. Is that a valuable habit? Right? Do you think that I'm going to continue advancing for the rest of my life? Yeah. The only thing, because I've built those habits, the only thing that I need to do now is to pick the subject. And then I just go. Okay? Is this making sense? Yeah. Is this seeming quite simple? Is this simple? Right? Is this a concept that you can take into your life and actually apply it? As soon as you walk out of this seminar, can you guys start applying this? Tomorrow, can you start applying this? Right? Conversation with somebody. If you didn't bring a book with you, so what? Go and learn something from somebody. Ask them how they paint. Right? Just go and learn. Pick a subject. Find somebody who's doing that subject. Learn from them. Read books. All this. There's no magic formula to learn this in this sequence and do this. Guys, we're information gathering machines, and our brains work in a way that I don't fully understand. Okay, I can't even begin to come up here and say that I get it. I fully get it. I understand how these brains work. You do this and then this and then this. No. I don't know how it goes from this, to simplicity. I don't know how, but I know that there's a moment, a threshold that gets crossed, and everything makes sense. So if you want to become confident, if you want to live with the people who are masterful, right, all you got to do, guys, is use that valuable trait that, she's not here, Eugenia used to get me to come here. Do you guys want to know what that is? Why am I here? Okay? Why am I here? Why am I standing up here talking to you guys right now? Eugenia used something. Do you guys all know who Eugenia is? Yeah? Okay. Eugenia used something that is one of the most valuable traits in every single person who has achieved something great. The most successful people on this planet have used this trait. And Eugenia used it to get me to come here. You guys want to know what that is? Okay. It's very simple. It's persistence. She's asked me to come and speak for 3 years running. And I said, no, Eugenia, I'm too busy. No, I'm busy doing this. No, I can't come. And so she asked me, I think it was 6 months before this event, she said, Sam, can you come? How are you doing this year? Right? Can you come out? She wanted to get to me early. Can you come out? And I said, I don't know. Let me see if I can do that. I know my respect for her went through the roof because she continued. I said, I don't know. Let me think about that. Let me see if I can make this happen. And then she asked me, I think it was 3 months to the event. And you know what? I said, you know what? This is the 3rd year running. I'm going to feel bad if I say no again without some sort of good reason. Like, I know that I can make anything happen, so I'm just going to say, yeah, Eugene, I'll make it happen. What's the date? And so I took time away. I brought my book out here, and I came. That's why I'm here. So a living example of that. You guys have experienced this. This is not new to you. I'm just pointing it out.
If I can just
Yeah.
throw it out there,
Yeah.
what I'm seeing with Eugenia and that persistence is tied into her burning desire to make Master Harvest very successful. So she's so passionate about it that she's not in fear state when she's just, either she has to talk to you or talk to anyone. The guy who was just here before, do you know who he is? I don't know his name, but he's very famous. He takes Dr. Seuss and turns it into life philosophy. It's brilliant. He's a genius. And she tracked him down to that one. He was in the States.
Wow.
Sure, yeah,
Wow.
He had a CDs up for sale. And I think she may have tapped into your burning desire to teach. Because she knows you love it. It's your passion. So her passion and your passion.
Yeah.
You're going to say yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's my connection.
Yeah. That's, you're seeing the matrix there. Yeah. That's huge. Because then we start hanging out with people who have that burning desire. It might not be for the same thing. It might not be for that same thing, but we start hanging around with people who have a burning desire for something. And those people are exciting to hang out with, right? They're passionate about life. They want to live life to the fullest. They want to take advantage of every moment. I wear a watch, not because it's comfortable, but because I want to track. I just want to track it. Because I don't want my life to go by and say, where did all the time go? Or say, what, it's the end of the month already? Oh, what, it's the next year already? I just track it. That's it.